Your Godforce, your true sun, this inner light, this burgeoning that is within you that we have suppressed, that we have forgotten who we are. Welcome, Evolutionaries. Today I'm going to go deeper down the rabbit hole on one of my most favorite topics, and that is the Godforce. The Godforce that lies within you, this spark of God, this illumine piece of God that resides within this mortal shell of ours, and how we can enliven this to shine the light within the deepest, darkest caverns of evil tyranny. And this is how we take and look at the world, is through the eyes of God. That is the illumination of who you are, which changes the dynamic of creation within time and space. And this is so very exciting, because if you're watching this video, it means that you are chosen to be here. And this is very exciting. So let me kind of walk through what I want to chat with you about today. So first thing, this illumination that resides within your heart, this spark of God, you are the light of the light. And I want you to say that out loud. I am the light of the light. The light of God within. For you have the light of God within you, and there is no thing, no darkness that could ever take that away. Now, it may try to disguise, it may try to fool, because after all, the trickster is out there trying to perpetrate a crime, making you believe something that is false, something that would shatter and go against the natural law of God, and that is, you are in essence a spark of God, and the trickster wants you to believe otherwise. But I am here to affirm and to assure you that you, watching this video, have the light, the spark of God within. And I want you to stop and pause for a moment and just think and see and envision. And when I say envision this, for it is real, envision, and within you, within this heart space, this illumination that is expanding and growing, for that is God's natural law. That is the law of phi. That is the law of blossoming, which I have shared with you. You are the light, and you are becoming more aware that you are the light. And as you become more aware, the folds of darkness just fade away, because you are now permeating the darkness with this incredible light within you. So and never forget, you are enlightened. So these gurus, they don't know what they're talking about. They try, as a huckster, make you feel like you've got to do something. All you have to do is summon the sun within. And I say sun, and this is interesting because you can see it as a sun, but I also see it as the Son of God. So this spark, this evolutionary potential that we have to return and unfold time and space, so that we now break down the barriers and become who we're supposed to be within the oneness of all things. And this is really, really powerful. So envision this. In the vision within, see the spark of God, the spark of all creation within you, waiting to be illumined. Now, how do you see? As I've talked about in one of my earlier episodes, thine eye be single. Now, most people think that are not really on par with creation, think that the thine eye be single means the third eye. It actually means the heart. You have to, and I say have to, as a daughter, as a son of God, of the Creator, we choose how we want to see the world. And we can see the world through darkness, or we can see the world illuminated for love. And this eye of choice resides in the heart. So the heart can either weigh with darkness or be weighed with light. And this is really going back to the ancient Egyptian teachings, which are Atlantean teachings, with Anubis weighing the heart against a feather to see whether or not the light of God resides within that being, so that they can move on from this earthly dimension versus being cast into the pit. And so this is the awakening. This is the great awakening. And I'm just sharing a little nudge here on this video to help you truly understand who you are, because you are this amazing spark that is blossoming, that is illuminating all and nourishing all that is around you. So what do you see? Well, do you see the light of the light, or do you see the rings of darkness? Because these rings of darkness, and speaking of rings of darkness, Saturn is a dark planet, hence the rings of darkness. It is an anagram for Satan. And this is something that is not a new teaching. It is actually a very ancient teaching. So these rings of darkness need to be permeated with the light that is within you to cast them off. And once you do that, you begin to see the world, if you will, through rose-colored glasses, seeing through the eyes of God. So do you see from a place of light or darkness? Now, this is a fairly simple question, but it's one that is incredibly relevant, because we all, being mortal, are in this earth school to learn, and to learn how to reframe and see things in the light of God, the light of the Creator, so that we can evolve the creation along the timeline that we are in now, so that we can perpetrate and enfold the light within. So we are eradicating all things, essentially pulling the weeds out of the garden, so that we do create heaven on earth. And so the spark of God is and lays within you. This is your God force. And it's up to us to awaken that God force and strengthen that God force, so that it becomes all-consuming with regards to the ability that nothing, no evil, no tyranny, no darkness can stand in our way. And the beautiful thing about what I just said is this spark of God is within you, and there is nothing, no thing that can hold you back or stop what is within you, for we are awakening. So allow this God force to cast out all darkness of night. This is your armor of God that the Bible speaks of. In other books, I like to really think about it as the armor of light. So people talk about putting a shield up. I don't really see shields. I just see an illuminescence of light illuminating from my heart, which no darkness can step into. It's very similar to the video I did on harmonic health and talking about oxygenating the body. So in an oxygenated environment, there can be no disease. Your body cannot be at dis-ease. No virus or bacteria can form in an oxygenated body. So just like that, when you have an illuminated body and you are and become more and more of the light, or activate, summon this light force within you, nothing, no darkness can take hold. And so while the oxygenation of the body is at a very physical level, the illumination of the body is at a spiritual level. So it permeates the physical, so you too can wield the magic of light. So you have the armor of light. Okay, there are, as I mentioned, the outer rings of darkness. This keeps us bound to this reality. And so as you begin to awaken and illumine, these rings begin to fade. You begin to disintegrate the grasp of the darkness in this dimensional aspect that has a hold on you, and you are now free to do godly, goodly things. And these darker rings also keep us separated from realizing who we are, and that is the God spark, and that's by design. These beings have tried to perpetrate a lie, trick us into believing that we are something that we are not. And yet, when I look at you, I can see this amazing spark of God that is resonating and bubbling up. And this is just such an amazing thrill for me to see this gift awakening within inside of you. And so you are a sun summoner. You summon the light of God within to illuminate all things. You are a castor of light. You are morphing darkness into light. You are creating something from the nothing. You are illuminating where there is no light. There is only creation. And as an aspect, a spark of God, you have the ability to create. So it's not really about monetary things. It is about becoming who you are. So while earthly things seem to be important, the most important thing on this journey, as I have talked about in the past, is not only ending the reincarnation cycle, but it's also illuminating and awakening to your true essence of who you are, this spark of God within you. So, which is kind of funny because as I was pondering doing this video, I had a flashback because I was talking about the castor of light, which all this stuff started coming to me. And then this is a story I haven't yet shared. So very early on in my awakening, I had this incredible, crazy download, really about a week, and many of you know my story, where I asked the universe to restore the gifts that I had forsaken this lifetime. And I was walking across my living room, and I just had this incredible download where I stopped. And when I stopped, I started writing all this information, which I had no concept or idea of where and how this information even came to me. And this is the funny part, because when I go, how do I know this? Because I was writing like 10 pages and I kind of stopped. I was like, this is crazy. And this is very unusual for me because I'd never done anything like this before. And a voice came to me very clearly and said, you are castor ebon. And I'm like, castor ebon? And I was like, I was really confused because I'd never really heard a voice talk to me before this. And the voice said, castor ebon. I'm like, castor ebon? What the heck is, who are you? Anyway, so I knew and understood the creation of nothing or something from the nothing. This is what some call magic, some call other things, but really it is creation at its finest. So being a good neophyte with regards to the spiritual awakening stuff, I went and Googled, and I was going, okay, what the heck is castor ebon? I was trying to figure out somebody or something in history that had that name. But what I determined was that castor was a caster of spells or light, and ebon was actually short for ebony. So a black spellcaster. I'm like, oh man, really? That's kind of crazy. I was like a black spellcaster, like a wicked kind of thing. And it was interesting because that has stuck with me forever until today. I had this epiphany and awakening of being a castor ebon, what castor ebon's true mission was. And this is what I'm sharing with you, because this light caster, to bring light into the darkness, is really what castor ebon was all about and is all about. And this is my message, if I can speak, this is my message to you, is that you are a light caster. You control the force of light, of the light. You are living light. And there's nothing that can stop you once you summon this force of God that is within you. So within the darkness, as a light caster, all things fall away. The layers fall away. The folds of darkness fall away. You are the illumine. You are the light of the light. And this light originates from your heart, the spark of the soul that is all things within this. And this is just a friendly reminder, a nudge of who you are. So as we continue, today I stand before you as a caster of light within the darkness. And I'm just nudging you again as a reminder of who you truly are. So this is a gift I share with each one of you. You wield, and remember, you wield the power of God in mortal form. You wield the power of God in mortal form. You are the spark, the illumined presence of heaven on earth. Let me say that again, because that's really cool. You, the person watching this, is a daughter or son of creation. You wield the light force within you. This is really amazing when you think about the potential that we are asleep to, that we have yet to be awakened fully, because this is our chosen path. So once this light is summoned, you erase the folds of darkness that keep you separated from God. So as you awaken this force, summon this force from within, because it is the eternal wellspring of God that is bubbling up. And it's up to us to open the floodgates so this illumination percolates up and we eradicate the darkness and eliminate all the craziness and the suffering on this planet. For nothing man-made, nothing made by extraterrestrials, nothing can stand in the light, in the presence of the awakened God force within you. So if there is anything, any challenge you're facing, it cannot stand up to the force of God within you. So, and one other cool thing is science even says that we are light beings. We are made up of photonic, or photons. And so it's interesting because what they have forgotten is there is an ignition source beyond the photonic levels of light that they can measure. Again, the light of the light. So going beyond what is even comprehensible by science, I can see with my mind's eye, because I have, this has been shared with me, and now I get an opportunity to share it with you. And this is like crazy exciting for me. So you are living light. You are the light of the light. This, by the way, is a time of choice. And there are going to be some people, even within your family, that make a choice of contraction versus expansion. So contraction into the darkness, which is saddening. But this is an opportunity for all. And as you ignite and blossom, because this is the law of blossoming, the expansion of who you are, you can pull those who have chosen maybe the dark path, pull them back into the light, wrap them in the light. And it's not a matter of words or this or that. It's just a matter of knowing that your love, the light of love within you, within the heart, is expanding all over, and it's permeating, it's nourishing. That's probably a great word. It is nourishing those around you to help them awaken and cast off these crazy things that may have happened to them in their lifetime, these choices that they may be, or the fear that they're living in now, because you and it is our responsibility in putting on the armor of light in behalf of the Creator to illuminate the world. So summon the light of the light within. Attune. This is the law of attunement. Attune to the light of God, because those that practice the law of attraction are contracting and taking from the light. These are the people that will need help, as well as other things. But this is a contraction law. This is an expansion law. So summon the light of the light within you. Illumine the darkness and see the world with the eye of God, or through the eye of God, which exists in your heart. Become a caster of light and dissolve the folds with the light. As a flower turns to the sun for nourishment, so the light within you will nourish all around you. Summon the light and blossom. This is such an incredibly important message at this time. So the law of phi, the law of expansion, the law of blossoming. The law of blossoming is the natural law of God. And this is exactly what this message needs to be today on Cinco de Mayo. This is the festival. This is a time of celebration, because this is the time of the Great Awakening, where you and I stand forth in the presence of the darkness with the living light of creation within us to cast off the darkness. Yes, you may go, well, Joe, I can't do that. You can do that, and you are doing that. If you have watched this video, you have the ability for insight, the sight within, envision this blossoming light. And that's all you really need to think about, is this blossoming light of God within you. And this light will ignite the power of the structure of God, that it will make people feel, when you walk into a room or just sitting in your own home, meditating, people will feel a presence, because there is no limit to the expression of love, of light that exists within you, that is blossoming, that is percolating up from the wellspring of your soul, this spark, this illuminescence within you. So I am Joe Heller, and I am thrilled to bring you this present to allow and nudge you and help you remember. This is the most important thing, because we have amnesia. This is an awakening. It is a time of the great remembering as well, remembering who we are. And we are the essence of God. And we are here to put on the living light, the armor of light for God, for all people, in not only on earth, but all beings throughout the universe. This is very exciting. So much love. I think I covered everything I needed to cover. And just remember and think and see this wellspring of light blossoming up from within you. I am Joe Heller, and I love you so much. It is such a thrill to be here to help you on your journey in remembering what a magnificent light being, beyond the light that we could ever comprehend, this living spark of light from God to nourish the Garden of Eden, bringing heaven back to earth. It's really exciting. I love you. I'm Joe Heller. Bye-bye.